Welcome back to Press Here. It would appear Washington is committed to net neutrality. The big question is who's going to enforce it. On Thursday, the head of the FCC gave commissioners his plans to guarantee data would be treated equally online. But at the same time, Congress is racing to create its own plan. To get inside the mind of Washington, we thought we'd get inside the mind of Ryan Allis. He is the former co-chair of technology for President Obama, dropped out of Harvard to build his current company, Connect. How much of a cliche is that? Really, you dropped out of Harvard?
You know, I'm trying to be novel here.
Now, unlike Zuckerberg and Gates, you actually sold your first company for like $179 million.
$170 million, and I dropped out of Harvard Business School.
Okay, so it's a little different.
Yes.
You were far wealthier, ironically, than Gates or Zuckerberg when you dropped out of Harvard.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So who cares whether Congress or the FCC? Why does Congress care?
Yeah, well, I actually support Tom Wheeler, the FCC chairperson's move this week to actually reclassify broadband and reclassify mobile broadband under Title II. And I'm a big supporter of net neutrality, and I believe that all data should be treated equally.
Well, does Congress just want the power to say, no, we're going to be in charge of treating data equally, not the FCC? Is it that simple?
You know, I don't know in the current Congress whether they would believe that all data should be treated equally. I think, fortunately, FCC chairperson, Mr. Wheeler, he really does believe that we can create a world where data is treated equally, and it's not a two-class, two-tier internet.
I'm going to make enemies in about a 50-mile radius by raising this question as devil's advocate, which is, you know, I dig the trenches, I sink the pipes, I run this stuff. You get to use a whole ton of it and interfere with my service for other people, and I'm supposed to consider that fair and even. Why?
Yeah, look, Quinn, I'm a capitalist.
Yeah.
I believe in competition. Now, the reality of the world that Comcast and Time Warner Cable and Verizon and AT&T operate under, it's a monopoly. They don't compete in the same cities. And in a monopoly, we need to treat these companies like utilities, just like water and just like electricity.
And so they've received numerous breaks to get where they are anyway in terms of right-of-ways and bandwidth, what have you, right?
They put in hundreds of billions of dollars in infrastructure. Your point is well taken.
Okay.
And we need a world where people have access to the internet where they're not discriminated against based on what they can afford to pay.
Right. Okay, so somebody defended the cable companies. We can move past that.
Yeah.
And somebody said the C word, in which case I need to then say, by the way, this television station is owned by a parent company, Comcast, the most wonderful cable company in the entire world.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I know Alice is dying to ask you something, and why don't you just come out with it?
Oh, I guess. I know of you because of this Valleywag piece mocking your 1,200 slide deck about lessons learned in your 20s.
That's right.
Literally a 1,200 slide PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, so for my 30th birthday last August, I came out with a 1,284 slide PowerPoint deck called Lessons from My 20s. And I learned a lot in my 20s. I made a lot of mistakes. I learned a lot about business, about building an organization, and I put together a deck about what I'd learned so far about life, about the world, and about entrepreneurship.
Did you present this to people?
And I just put it online. And
did you learn to keep it brief?
I was very succinct in my 1,284 slides.
You started out with 3,000.
Something like that. Now, let's point out the people who teased you about it had not made $170 million selling their first company. You may have had something to say.
Well, in the world of the internet, I think being able to put content online is the new way to reach people. And I was really looking at targeting millennials, people under 35 who wanted to be up to big things in the world. And as CEO of Connect today, we're up to big things in the world at Connect. And I wanted to put something out there that would enable us to be able to get our message all around the world.
Okay, we'll leave out font size, which is probably a big issue where the 100, or at least 100 of the slides were concerned. But to boil it down, was there one thing you really wanted to shake people and let them understand through all this?
Absolutely.
What was it?
Yeah, in 2012, my mother passed away from a brain tumor. And the thing I learned from that experience is that we should use our lives to do things that matter. We should live mission-driven lives. And that, when boiled down into one soundbite, was the point of the deck.
That's valuable.
Yeah.
Is there something you think, and I realize you're a young man yourself, that younger entrepreneurs should be knowing? I mean, about business, not about life necessarily. The lesson you've learned in business?
Yeah, so I live in San Francisco today, and here in Silicon Valley, it's an extraordinary time to be building companies, to be an entrepreneur, to be a tech entrepreneur, and I'm excited to be building in mobile. And we are in the most extraordinary time over the next 5 years, between 2015 and 2020, to build technologies that change the world.
You know, making $170 million is probably like a really great day, but it also presents a kind of issue that most of us don't face, which is to say, you're in this room with like an infinite number of doors. You could open any one of them and be doing something. Why did you choose Connect? Why did you choose to go back to business when you could be doing any number of other things?
Yeah. So I built
Did that have to do with who you were, specifically your skill set, or your desires about what you want to see in the world?
And you'll have to answer that fairly quickly there.
So I built iContact in North Carolina for 10 years. We had an extraordinary team of 300 people, moved out here to California, and now we're building Connect to help people deepen their relationships, a mission that I think is very worthy of.
Ryan Allis of Connect, thank you for being with us this morning, and thank you for putting up with us teasing you as well. Press Here will be back in just a minute.